Hello, welcome to Ive's channel. Today we will learn about one of the most shocking and devastating betrayals in Salem's history as Tony DiMera brutally backstabs his loyal ally Gabby Hernandez, leaving fans questioning whether this treacherous move will cost him his life when Gabby unleashes her epic revenge. The corporate takeover that changed everything. Tony DiMera has finally achieved what many thought was impossible. He successfully wrestled control of DiMera Enterprises away from the iron grip of Xander Cook and Philip Kyriakis, two formidable businessmen who thought they had secured their positions at the powerful company. After months of meticulous planning and strategic maneuvering, Tony emerged victorious in this high-stakes corporate battle that has left the Kyriakis family reeling from their devastating loss. The triumph should have been a moment of celebration for Tony and his trusted partner Gabby Hernandez, who risked everything to help him reclaim the DiMera legacy. However, what should have been a shared victory has transformed into a nightmare of deception and betrayal that will shake Salem to its very core. The victory came at a tremendous cost, not just for the Kyriakis brothers who now face an uncertain future, but for Gabby, who placed her trust in a man who would ultimately prove himself to be as ruthless and calculating as the most villainous members of the DiMera dynasty. Tony's gloating declaration that Titan Industries is doomed and that he will purchase the company for a pittance reveals a side of him that many longtime viewers find deeply disturbing and completely out of character for the man they thought they knew. This cruel, vindictive behavior raises serious questions about whether something far more sinister is happening behind the scenes at the DiMera mansion. Gabi's dangerous mission as corporate spy. For months, Gabby Hernandez operated in the shadows as Tony's secret weapon, infiltrating the inner circle of Xander and Philip to gather the sensitive information that would ultimately lead to their downfall. She flirted shamelessly with Xander Cook, using her considerable charm and beauty to lower his defenses and gain access to confidential business dealings. Her mission required her to walk a dangerous tightrope, kissing Philip Kyriakis to extract crucial details about their business operations while maintaining her cover and avoiding suspicion. Every interaction was calculated, every smile and touch a weapon in Tony's corporate warfare, and Gabby played her role to perfection, delivering intelligence that proved invaluable in Tony's quest to reclaim his family's empire. The stress and moral compromises of her espionage work took a heavy toll on Gabby, who convinced herself that the ends would justify the means when Tony fulfilled his promise to make her CEO of DiMera Enterprises. She planted sophisticated spy devices, including a hidden pen that recorded private conversations between the unsuspecting Kyriakis brothers. When she uncovered evidence of a forged letter supposedly written by the late Victor Kyriakis, she delivered this bombshell information directly to Tony, providing him with the ammunition he needed to launch his final assault on their control of the company. Throughout this entire ordeal, Gabby believed she was building her future, investing in a partnership that would elevate her to the highest echelons of Salem's business elite and secure her position as one of the most powerful women in the city. Theo Carver's surprise return to Salem. Just as Tony was consolidating his power and preparing to reorganize DiMera Enterprises, his nephew Theo Carver unexpectedly returned to Salem after an extended absence. The young man, who had previously left town for South Africa following a painful breakup with Claire, arrived back in Salem with newfound maturity and ambition, ready to forge his own path in the business world. Tony immediately recognized an opportunity to keep the company's leadership within the DiMera bloodline, and he wasted no time extending a lucrative executive position to his nephew, dangling the prospect of eventually becoming CEO of the family empire. Theo, eager to prove himself and establish his independence from his father's protective influence, found himself drawn to the offer despite knowing the dark reputation that surrounds the DiMera name and their often questionable business practices. The timing of Theo's return seems almost too convenient, leading some to wonder whether Tony had been orchestrating this reunion long before Gabby completed her mission. Did Tony already know that he would betray Gabby, or did Theo's unexpected arrival simply present an irresistible opportunity to keep the CEO position in the family? Theo's father, the Honorable Abe Carver, was absolutely furious when he learned of his son's plans to work for DiMera Enterprises, a company that has brought nothing but pain and suffering to their family over the years. Abe has spent decades trying to shield Theo from the toxic influence of the DiMera family, particularly after losing his beloved daughter Lexi, who was deeply connected to the DiMera legacy. The thought of his son willingly walking into that world filled Abe with dread and anger, leading to a confrontation where he explicitly forbade Theo from accepting Tony's offer. The brutal firing that shocked Salem. When Gabby arrived at the DiMera mansion expecting to discuss her new role as CEO, she had no idea that she was walking into an ambush that would shatter her dreams and leave her reeling from the cruelest betrayal of her life. Tony summoned her to the mansion with cold formality, his demeanor unnervingly detached and businesslike, completely devoid of the warmth and partnership they had supposedly shared during their collaboration. As Gabby entered the room, radiating confidence and anticipation, she was shocked to see Theo Carver standing beside Tony, a smug expression on his face that immediately sent warning signals through her mind. Before she could even ask what was happening, Tony delivered the devastating news with brutal efficiency. Her services were no longer required, and Theo would be assuming the position of CEO that had been promised to her. The words hit Gabby like a physical blow, leaving her momentarily speechless as she struggled to process the magnitude of Tony's betrayal. After everything she had sacrificed, every risk she had taken, every moral compromise she had made in service of their shared goal, Tony was casting her aside like worthless garbage. She had humiliated herself, risked her reputation, and potentially made dangerous enemies of Xander and Philip, all based on Tony's promise that she would be rewarded with the CEO position she had earned through her blood, sweat, and cunning. The cruelty and callousness of this betrayal cut deeper than any physical wound, and as the reality of the situation sank in, Gabi's shock began transforming into a burning rage that promised terrible consequences for everyone involved. Tony's cold dismissal and refusal to even acknowledge her contributions to his victory revealed a ruthless streak that seems completely at odds with his established character, leaving many to wonder what could have caused such a dramatic transformation in his personality and values. The growing Andre theory explained. As news of Tony's shocking betrayal spreads through Salem, an explosive theory is gaining traction among fans and characters alike. What if the man calling himself Tony DiMera is actually his villainous twin brother Andre, who supposedly died years ago but may have somehow cheated death once again to wreak havoc on the unsuspecting residents of Salem? The DiMera family has a long and sordid history of resurrection, impersonation, and elaborate deceptions that defy all logic and reason, making this theory far more plausible than it might initially appear. Andre has impersonated Tony on numerous occasions throughout the years, fooling even Tony's own wife Irna DiMera, who has fallen victim to Andre's twisted games of identity theft and psychological manipulation. The fact that Irna hasn't noticed anything amiss with her husband's recent behavior is particularly troubling, especially considering her past experiences with Andre's deceptions. Andre DiMera was presumed dead after Abigail Devereaux accidentally killed him with an urn in January 2018, bringing a violent end to one of Salem's most dangerous villains. However, in the world of Days of Our Lives, death is rarely permanent, and Andre has proven himself to be a master of survival and deception. He even made a brief supernatural appearance in 2022 as a servant of the devil during Johnny DiMera's possession, proving that the boundaries between life and death are fluid in Salem. Tony's recent behavior exhibits all the hallmarks of Andre's manipulative and power-hungry nature: the ruthless betrayal of allies, the obsessive focus on controlling DiMera Enterprises, the cold calculation in disposing of Gabby, and the preference for family loyalty over honoring commitments to outsiders. The real Tony DiMera historically showed little interest in the corporate machinations that consumed his siblings, preferring to distance himself from his father Stefano's legacy of crime and corruption. This dramatic shift in priorities and personality strongly suggests that Andre may have somehow replaced his brother, either through another elaborate impersonation scheme or through even darker means that we haven't yet discovered. Gabi's revenge and possible alliances. Gabby Hernandez is not the type of woman to accept betrayal quietly, and those who know her understand that she will stop at nothing to make Tony pay dearly for his treachery. Her history in Salem is filled with examples of elaborate revenge schemes and ruthless retaliation against those who have wronged her, and this betrayal may be the catalyst for her most devastating vendetta yet. The first order of business for Gabby will likely be reclaiming Gabby Chic, her successful fashion company that has been absorbed into the DiMera Enterprises portfolio. She could legitimately argue that she deserves this company as compensation for her services and as a settlement for Tony's breach of their agreement. However, those who know Gabby understand that reclaiming her fashion company will only be the beginning of her revenge, not the ultimate goal that will satisfy her burning need for justice and retribution. The most intriguing possibility for Gabby's revenge involves forming an unlikely alliance with Xander Cook and Philip Kyriakis, the very men she spent months deceiving and manipulating on Tony's behalf. By confessing her role as Tony's corporate spy and offering to help them strike back against the DiMera organization, Gabby could position herself as a valuable asset in their quest to reclaim what was stolen from them. She possesses intimate knowledge of Tony's plans, his vulnerabilities, and the inner workings of DiMera Enterprises that could prove invaluable in mounting a counterattack. Xander and Philip would be justified in their skepticism and anger toward Gabby, given her role in their downfall, but they might also recognize that her betrayal by Tony makes her a credible ally motivated by genuine hatred and desire for revenge rather than calculated self-interest. This alliance of the betrayed could become the most formidable threat that Tony DiMera, or Andre, if the theory proves true, has ever faced, combining their resources, knowledge, and shared motivation to destroy the man who wronged them all. The ultimate question: will Tony die? The explosive title of this storyline suggests that Tony's betrayal may ultimately cost him his life, raising the stakes to life-and-death levels that promise maximum drama and devastating consequences. Gabby has demonstrated in the past that she is capable of violence when pushed to her limits, and this betrayal may finally push her beyond the point of no return. The phrase, "he must die," attached to this storyline indicates that viewers and possibly other characters believe that Tony's actions warrant the ultimate punishment, and in the world of Salem where murder and mayhem are commonplace occurrences, this threat should be taken seriously. Will Gabby take matters into her own hands and eliminate Tony herself, or will his betrayal create a cascade of consequences that ultimately leads to his death at the hands of another enemy he has made during his ruthless pursuit of power? If Tony is actually Andre in disguise, the revelation of his true identity could trigger a violent confrontation that ends in death, either Andre's permanent demise or the shocking discovery that the real Tony has been imprisoned or killed by his evil twin. The resolution of this storyline promises to be explosive, with potential revelations about identity, betrayal, and the deadly consequences of crossing the wrong person in Salem. Whether justice will be served, revenge will be achieved, or new tragedies will emerge from this tangled web of deception remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Gabby Hernandez will not rest until Tony DiMera has paid the ultimate price for his treacherous betrayal, and the fallout from this confrontation will reshape the power dynamics in Salem for years to come.